Good evening, everyone. Appreciate everyone being here tonight. It's very important meeting. Today's chair and that and this commission, and I'd like to thank the fire department that allowed us. Thanks very much. Hopefully, we be in today, quite frankly, we have these little forms, like how large it is. Customary for us, board of commissioners, to begin each one of our meetings with prayer by city commissioner. Here's the time we're welcome to stand and join us in prayer. Prayer. I feel we welcome you for more time. And we also like to do the pledge of allegiance to the flag. But it's good. I'd like to call on Commissioner Marvin Aaron, lead us in the invitation tonight.
Everyone, and I hope, pray that everyone is doing well. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come here this evening to say thank you. Thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon Nash County and its citizens. We pray that you will continue to guide us as we make decisions as governing bodies for our citizens. We pray that you will continue to guide our educators in the right direction, that they will continue to prepare our young people for the task at hand. We hope that everything that we do will be to help our citizens achieve their future dreams. We ask all of these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank the flag to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time, I'd like to call Nash County play back and forth. Also, after doing that, we will.
First of all, let me say good evening. It's a pleasure and honor to be in discussions with our colleagues. I too like this division. I think it's close fellowship. So those who are together, the ability to relate and communicate. So I first of all like to call the Nash County Public School Board of Education to order. Madam Board Clerk, roll call, please.
Donovan Chavis. Here. Chris Bishop.
Here.
Blake Duncan.
Here.
Sharonda Thomas Bullock. Here. Evelyn Bullock. Here. Dean Edwards. Franklin Lane.
Here.
Dr. Washington Washington. Here. Richard Jenkins.
Here.
Bill Sharp.
Here. With that, we're in session.
Thank you, sir. I had a full on agenda to take the presentation by our community college, Nash Community College. And the dead campus with we all think
I agree with that wholeheartedly. My grandmother always told me it's best to go first.
because two things, you set the stage, and typically you get more than you ask for. So if you want to change Dr. Ellis' budget at all, on my way, I'll share that. I can ask a question. Hey, it's probably dangerous to all of y'all in here, how well he and I get along. I'm here with, of course, the person that really runs the college, the CFO, Adrian Covington. We just want to run through some updates for y'all, and then Adrian will go through the budget with you and address any questions or concerns. So let's just get started. So first things first, we could not do what we do. Dr. Ellis and I both are in a profession where we get to change lives every day. It's the best job. Each of our jobs is the best job on the planet, but we could not do it without funding partners and just partners like you all. Thank you so much for that and continued support. But then another thank you for your most recent show of support, which we are certainly thrilled about. And that is there a pointer on here?
Yes.
Okay.
The red, yes.
Right.
I think you turned it off. Yes.
Never let the president handle technology.
Yeah.
There we go. 14.143 acres that is coming to the college from the county. We're so deeply appreciative of. And some of y'all have probably heard it called the CDL range, which is much more than that. So we are calling it the MCC Driver Training Center, and it's going to benefit so many more people than just commercial truck drivers. One of the reasons we're so excited to get it, we have been searching around the county, every possible property to do our driver training on. Every time we find a DMV approved site, the building sells, which means the economy's good, and that's a great thing, but it's bad for our driving program. Currently, we've entered into a agreement with Edgecombe Community College to use a property in Edgecombe until our facilities are built. We've got a short-term fix and we've got a long-term fix. But if you look up there, commercial truck driving is a big part of what it will be. Our basic law enforcement training, our BLAT, our BLAT program, fire academy, electric line, emergency medical services, motorcycle training, and then we fully expect to be a regional hub for first responder continuing education. We already are in so many areas. We think this will only continue to do that. So again, thank you so much for your forward thinking, helping us make this happen. We don't know exactly the timing, but we're looking at late spring next year. We think it could be done. So we're pretty excited about that. So just to give you a little campus overview, I am fortunate. I came here 2.5 years ago. Fortunate on a lot of reasons, but I inherited from Bill Carver an incredible college and an incredible team. You notice I say team, I don't say staff, because they're not staff, they're team members, and I'm honored to be the person that leads them. But we are also, in addition to being Team Nash, we are literally Nash County's community college. And we don't take that lightly. We have very deep concerns and very deep roots in the county, and we always will. So we are Nash County's community college. Just to give you some pre-COVID numbers, some of y'all have seen this before. When you saw this the other day, you have to share with me again, but just to show you some of these. Pre-COVID, now we haven't counted numbers during COVID because among other things, Brown Auditorium had to close for a while. We will get back to the count, but pre-COVID to serve almost 80,000 people a year is pretty impressive. In Brown Auditorium alone, 29,000 people. What I'm finding is a lot of people have been to Brown Auditorium a lot, but they've never been anywhere else on campus. So I enjoy introducing people to the rest of the campus because everyone's there. Because it is, Chairman, as you said, one of the most beautiful campuses, I'm going to say in the United States, but certainly in the state of North Carolina. So a lot of people being served. To give you a little funding breakdown, we had the Belk Foundation paid for an MZ report, which is Economic Modeling Systems International, it's used all over the world, to figure out the economic impact of each of the 58 colleges and the combined total in the state. Economic impact. The combined total in the state is over $19 billion. That's a great number to take back to the General Assembly. Our individual one's pretty darn impressive too. So when you look at what they came up with for us, they say that we have an $86 million impact on this county every year. That's impressive. And where that breaks down to, it's about $22 million in direct spending and direct impact. But then the rest of it is kind of the intrinsic things, the $64 million because we've been here since 1967. The alumni impact, the services impact, the social impact, all those things. And when you look at that, that's a pretty darn good return on investment, as we'll talk about momentarily. Because I always look at return on investment on anything I'm gonna try to do. So the return on investment is impressive as well. For county dollars, it's a 30-to-1 return on investment. I make the joke all the time, if my retirement account did that, I wouldn't be standing here today. I would have been retired a long time ago. But even on the state level, so as important as that is to the county, on the state level, it's a 3-to-1 return. That's impressive on the state level. So the good news is we don't cost anybody to do what we do. We actually return it. And that's the great thing. But the next statement is the one I'm most proud of. This is the one I keep in the back of my mind all the time. 1 in 38 jobs in this county has been touched by the college. That, folks, is impressive. Some even of our larger sister colleges in the system can't say that. It's not 1 in 38, it's 1 in 60 or 70. We're 1 in 38. We're very, very proud of that. So, programs, how do we do that? How do we serve all these people? We do more than you probably think. We have 50 degrees currently, we have around 19 diplomas, and we have 83 full certificates. But that's the small part of what we do. But those three together, we funnel into the region, into the county, anywhere from 650 to 700 new completers every year. And we're very proud of that. But when you add our short-term training programs to the mix, which we don't get funded for most of the time from the state, they're self-supported programs, a lot of training in industry, we throw that number into the thousands of people that we train and put back in the workforce. We'll help get a better job, to train to do their job better. When you put that kind of in the context of what we do, we have 3 basic areas of study. We have what everyone knows as curriculum. That includes college transfer and career technical education. Then we have continuing education. And then we have basic skills, adult basic ed, high school equivalency, if you will. So those are our 3 areas. When you combine those all together, and I will tell you, the state looks at us and says, you have 2,700 FTE, full-time equivalent. They rank everybody on the equivalent of how many hours they take equally among, if everybody was taking the same hours. They say we have 2,700. We just went over 14,000 people served this year. Students, not over that. This is a pre-COVID number for us. We had barely topped 14,000 in 18-19. So we're very proud of who we're serving and what we're doing. Again, I talked to the General Assembly, our General Assembly members a lot, and I'm telling these numbers. We need credit for some more of these numbers. We didn't get funding for those. We need a large number being served, and we're very proud of that. This state does something incredible, better than most states I've worked in, probably better than all states I've worked in. We are the most incredibly affordable educational place on the planet. It seems like you can finish your full first 2 years here for less than $6,000. It's actually closer to 5, around it up. Because 5 doesn't even sound real. When you consider that one of the larger 4-year universities, it's going to be maybe 10 to 20 to 30 to $40,000 for the first year, much less than the 3 years. So that's great, but not everybody needs a 2-year degree. Not everybody needs a 4-year degree. Not everybody. My dad said I had more degrees than a thermometer, but I had to get him to do what I wanted to do. Not everyone needs to go to school forever. So this is what we do that's the most expensive. And we have a whole lot of other options. We have what we call career in a year, career in 1 year. We have career in 6 months, career in 8 weeks, career in 36 hours. It's called basic skills. You come to our basic skills course, it's going to teach the soft skills that all of us don't think we should have to teach, but we have to now. But that's going to help you get a leg up to get employment. 36 hours. And it's very inexpensive to do that. So not everybody has to go forever, but we want to offer something for everybody. Looking at our enrollment numbers, if you look at the first year of COVID, we were the only 7 other colleges had higher loss than we did. We were around 11% down in enrollment. And 2 of my board members that are here had to be concerned about that, as we were, but everybody understood why. But what I did after that, I made a charge to my team of July of last year. I said, here's the thing, we're around 11% down. Let's get 5% back this year. Let's get 5+% back next year. And COVID never existed for us. We're good to go. Well, I'm so proud to tell you, they didn't just get us 5% back. They didn't just meet my charge. Their answer, we're at 6% ahead this year. which means if we get another 6% next year, then we're ahead of pre-COVID numbers. We see every indication that that is going to happen. So I'm very, very proud of where we've come from and how we've come through the pandemic so far. So our future messaging, there is a disconnect that exists between students, parents, and colleges. We've been saying it for 50 years, and we should have never said it, but we have. You got to get a 4-year degree. You got to get a 4-year degree. We have beaten that into school systems, to counselors, to students, to parents. It's not true. We have a 16-week lineman program, line construction program, 100% employment on the last day of 16 weeks, one semester, very little debt. They're making all a living wage and more at the average of about 50,000 plus. In the first year, 2 students have come back in their 3rd year and set up scholarships because they made over 100,000. Now they work all the time. Not everybody climb the pole, but if you can, that's a good option. But there's a disconnect with parents and students that a 4-year degree is better. Everyone needs to get that degree under their belt. Here's our messaging that's going to change. Skilled trades are okay. Skilled trades aren't dirty. I can't tell you there are parents that, oh, I don't want to go into advanced manufacturing. It's too dirty. We take them in our advanced manufacturing building. It is so much cleaner than my house. And I just moved in my house. It's pretty clean. It is amazing what people's perception is versus what's happening. They think of garage mechanics. You know, I used to get greasy and dirty and do all that. That's not what Cummins does. That's not what Pfizer does. Things like that. Skilled trades are lucrative. Try to find a skilled tradesman right now. You're going to probably pay a premium to do it to your house. Skilled trades mean less debt. Average 4-year degree college debt in this state, $42,000. Average starting salary, $34,000. We're setting 4-year degree people up to never get their loan paid off. They are needed in Nash County, less debt, and they are most of what we do. A lot of people hear the word college and think we only do degrees. We only send you on somewhere else. That's not the case. So here's our take on what we're going to start with changing our narrative. There is an adult learner crisis in America right now. But by adult learner, I mean what the Belkson or what the My Future NC folks are looking at, the 25 to 44-year-old. We're not talking 16 years old to 24. We're talking 25 to 44-year-old population. The latest Carolina demography data that My Future NC used was from 2018. It's a little old, but it still stands the test of time. What I'm a little concerned at this one, some college no degree, about 21,000 people. But again, if you've been working at Pfizer for 20 years, you don't need a degree. But in some of that range of age, there's going to be some kids or some people who do that. This one concerns me a little more, 31,458 people with high school diploma only. Again, if you're at the higher range of that age range, you may have been working for 20 years and it's not a big deal. If you're at the lower range, the lower age range, that's going to limit what you can do. Here's the one that concerns me the most. 10% of the folks in this county that are 25 to 44 have less than a high school diploma. That is the most low-hanging fruit you could ever see, because that is who we're going to target and say, no, you don't have to worry about a 4-year degree. You may want one. We can do an engineering degree. We can also do a 36-hour, 6-month, all those kind of things that fit. So I told the team when we talked about this, I said, here's the thing, we're going to do this anyway. But that when you have those 3 blue areas up, that's almost 62,000 people in this county, 2/3 of the county. If our return on effort was only 5% and we're way better than that, that would be over about 3,100 new students per month. That's our growth potential. That's who we've got to address. We've got to make the message correct. And the message is, we have what you need. Come let us show you. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to the smart person in our duo tonight. And let Adrian Tucker is going to talk to all about it. One dynamic question.
Start us off, I just want to walk you through a few of the projects that we've been working on campus this year. The first here is a project we're nearing completion on with Sound Rivers. They're a nonprofit organization out of Little Washington, and we're doing some campus stormwater improvements. that are funded through the NC Attorney General's Environmental Enhancement Grant and the Cannon Foundation. And these photos show before and after some rain garden, a rain garden that we have installed. And there are actually two on campus. One that is in front of the BNI here, and also one that is near the early college building. And the purpose of these rain gardens is to trap rainwater runoff from the campus throughway to slow the water entry into the ground, into the streams, and so forth. Also part of this grant, there are now 4 rainwater collection cisterns on campus that's collecting the rainwater coming off of the roof lines that we'll be using for watering the lawns and grounds on campus. And another improvement that I don't have a picture of was a dry swell on the backside of campus that runs alongside that back roadway. Some improvements there to help erosion and runoff. We also installed campus wayfinding signage this year, and we installed 12 signs that will help our visitors and students navigate areas around campus. Other projects that we've been working on this year that were funded by the county this year, a roof replacement project on building D1, and that project is slated to start right after graduation, so replacing that roof. And also our boiler replacement for building B, that boiler actually services building A and B, that is complete. And we also purchased a used John Deere tractor to use on campus. And then we've had another project to upgrade our HVAC control systems and the Business and Industry Center, Science and Technology building, and our CDC. And that is being funded through our CARES Act, Federal CARES Act, and HERF funds. So we're in the middle of that project right now. So for this year, upcoming year and budget request, this is our current county budget in comparison to what our request is. So you'll see in our operating ask, we're asking for a 6% increase. We're actually having a decrease in capital, and I'll get to more details in a minute on that. And expansion request for an additional position. So total increased budget of 2% overall. So the major changes in our budget is we're asking for a 2.5% increase for our county paid employees, and that'll match the same pay increase that our state funded employees will be getting. I'm going to show you 2.5 for this year and 2.5% increase for this upcoming year. So match that for our state paid employees, 2.5% increase. Fringe benefits will also be increasing. We're seeing a retirement rate increase from 22.89%. It's going up to 24.19%. Medical insurance premiums also on the rise. $200 for those premiums we pay for our employees. And then the next larger request for the budget is on the contracted services line item in detail. But we have been asked to increase the hourly rate that we pay our deputies that provide security on campus from $25 an hour to $30 an hour. And that $30 an hour rate matches what the deputies get at the other business and organizations that they provide. The next ask is for an additional position, full-time maintenance position. Funding request is $65,000 for salary and fringes. And we currently have 4 full-time maintenance personnel on campus and also our director of facilities. 4 maintenance personnel that are doing a lot of work on campus. We average about 150 maintenance work orders a month, And that's on top of the maintenance and all that type of work. And then capital request, the building maintenance line item, we typically ask for $225,000. You know, routine type maintenance, corporate replacement, these types of things, and smaller type projects that come. Itemizing larger projects that we might have, like this past year with the roofing projects and so forth. This year, we really don't have a lot of large projects that we need to do. I think we replaced all the roofs or replaced all the chillers. So it's just more smaller projects that we have for this year. So I did increase that building maintenance from 225 to 250,000, just to include those smaller type projects like hot water replacements and so forth. And then in the equipment request, we're asking for a 2-person lift. We do have a 1-person lift. It's always good to have a third and fourth hand when you're working on something. And also $10,000 for miscellaneous maintenance and lawn equipment replacements. So again, this year, a little more smaller projects in the So really the other items in the budget package, minimal changes, some decreases and minimal increases, but those are the major highlights of the changes for this year's budget. So again, that's the same summary that I started out with, 2% increase. Any questions?
Can you provide us with the approved budget?
Sure. And you also have the budget package as well.
Got that. I would like to approve the budget.
So it sounds like me.
That's correct.
And,
Over the past 4 or so years, we've done a lot of roof replacements and chiller replacements, the big ticket items using connect NC bond funds and also county budget. So very good.
But I know you're working on increasing. Say for 10%, 12%, 15%.
Yes,
I would say that we have upwards 40 to 50%. We've got
scheduling, class scheduling.
we've got room to grow. Then I'll come back to it.
Oh, Commissioner Duckworth. Maybe, I put a note over here. Oh, I'm sure they built one. Probably from around.
I'll double check that.
That was on that right, that's $200 increase constitution. Just so I took that out. It clear. Capital needs. Equation, when I say it, this person is doing the same thing.
Don't hold me to that next year.
Sometimes they do that. There no more what? Yes, sir.
The next one is the capital. 5-year plan, 2-year plan to project what
We certainly do.
the capital funding do the business.
And we're a number of years out on those larger projects, like also the roof and the pillars and doors and so forth.
Say within the next 5 years.
In the next 5 years, I really don't see any big ticket items on the list, because like I said, in the last 4 to 5 years, we've replaced all the chillers, all the roofs, and so it's just minor type heat pumps and that type of thing over the next 5 years. I'd say probably the 10 to 15 year mark, you know, start seeing some of those media replacements coming back for us. If I do have that schedule, I can show that.
Well,
This campus is really growing. Since I-
well, we need to recall that the last state bond issue, the money that college got for that, they budgeted up for making stock issue. On this fund, they accomplished for their bond. Dollars. Work together on. I think they'll do a great job utilizing a lot of that money for making stock issue, which has got to place we are today. And it really shows that this year. Quite frankly, I think that your parking lots themselves, all up through.
They are, there's a smaller one that the college that we're resurfacing this year, but all the rest of them we have touched over the last 3 or 4 years.
Other question?
Did you receive any COVID relief funds that help strain on this year?
We did receive COVID funds and, you know, the CARES Act funds and so forth. And we've used those for a variety of purposes. Student relief, we have discharged student debt to re-engage those students to come back to school. The project that I mentioned earlier about the HVAC controls and so forth, we're doing that with that federal COVID funding. So yes, we have.
There's lots of technology. We appreciate the videos with the support. Thanks for feeding us to.
All right, we certainly appreciate it. We'll take a very short break and we stay. Stay short break. Is anybody really? That's what moving through everybody. All right. Agenda is that our meeting yesterday. I didn't fish out all COVID. How I would wish we feel about it. It's okay. I'll ask you to read the rest. I'm not adopted yet because of what's written. I hear you yesterday. We needed to do.
I'll be glad to. I'll be glad to. Good evening, everyone. This is a Nash County resolution to express sincere gratitude to all teachers who enthusiastically dedicate themselves to the future and well-being of our students, to recognize Teacher Appreciation Week, and to encourage citizens in Nash County to honor the numerous vital contributions of our outstanding teachers. Whereas the success of our children and communities and the prosperity of our county are significantly influenced by the exemplary teachers throughout Nash County Public School System who dedicate their talents and minds to helping ensure that our schools and our young people excel. And whereas the knowledge, support, and skills our teachers provide students will positively impact generations for years to come. And whereas Nash County teachers challenge students to meet academic standards while also teaching them to apply what they learn, utilizing critical thinking and problem solving. And whereas our complex and rapidly changing world, teachers lay the foundation for success by aiding in the development of the students' creative thinking, collaboration, and communication skills. And whereas teachers dedicate countless hours preparing lessons, evaluating progress, counseling, and coaching students to ensure their academic, social, and emotional well-being. And whereas striving to instill within their students a lifelong love of learning, teachers encourage their students to achieve their goals while recognizing that each student has unique strengths and needs. And whereas our community recognizes and supports its teachers in educating the children of this community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Nash County Board of Commissioners acknowledges May 2nd through 6th, 2022 as Teacher Appreciation Week, and Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022 as Teacher Appreciation Day, and expresses sincere thanks for the work done by teachers. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be shared with every teacher within the Nash County school system, adopted this 3rd day of May 2022. We'll make that correction.
Thanks, Ben, I appreciate that. I think the work for resolution at this time. All of these, cycle through, I think that motion, all first and. I think, any questions on that motion?
We will get a signed resolution sent over to the school system tomorrow, and I recommend sign resolutions to them tomorrow. And if you all would help distribute that for us.
And I do apologize to our chief county manager. I realize he has been to it and like to do things to make that work. It doesn't seem due to most of us, but she said to us herself, been our assistant for many years. But she did change offices, so she moved to the back for very pleased to have her on board, our new manager. Very much like to move it in wherever we can, so. Congratulations on that. I'd like to turn it back over to. Good play today.
Okay, well, thank you. Yes, so we were able to announce today that we have named a new assistant county manager. Scott Rogers actually started serving as interim April 1st, and as of May 15th will be our new assistant county manager. And Scott is in the room with us today, so.
I'm sure we'll, all right, we'll move now to item number 9, which is the presentation from Nash County Board of Education. Turn it over to you, proceed how you see fit.
Okay, so let me just reiterate, like I said, it's a pleasure being with you guys and ladies. We have Dr. Ellison and his team has worked diligently over the past 6 years to surpass a lot of expectations and continue to work and strive to make sure that our kids have the best possible education that money will afford us. How they manage the budget and what they've been doing with the fundings that we have been outstanding. So I'm gonna ask Dr. Ellis, who's been with us now for a while, he's part of the regional family. So Dr. Ellis, you will those visit was.
Good evening. First, I just want to thank you for this. At a time where it seems like educators are being hit several different directions, it's great that the county supports teachers, so I will be glad to share this and post it with all. This is special, so thank you. Once again, good evening. I'm Steve Ellis, Superintendent, Nash County Public Schools. And just first want to thank you, like Dr. Honeycutt said, for your support. It has been a tough 2 years. I think we're finally getting out of COVID. But with your support during this time, it's been a whole lot easier for me and my team. And speaking of my team, I would like my team to stand up just at least so everyone in the room can see you. Stand up, please. I'm not going to let you just sit back. So, team, thank you for being here tonight, and I appreciate everything you do. So I'm going to give you a hand. I would say this is not my budget. These are the students in Nash County Public Schools, and with this team I have, they do a great job. So tonight, what we're going to do is you have copies of the presentation, but you also have like a summary of some of the numbers that we put in that you have tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to go over a 2021-22 review of what we have done this year. We're then going to talk about the budget. We're going to then talk about challenges that we're going to be facing next year, and then we're going to give a request. So, and I'm assuming at the end we'll just, if you have any questions, we'll entertain those questions. So at this time, Shannon Davis, facilities, you can come in and speak on complete projects. Okay, good evening. We'll go over a few projects that we've completed. It's not all of the projects we've completed, it's just kind of a highlight of some of the major things we've completed this past year. First of all, you'll see Winston Avenue. We started several years ago with our high schools, replacing gym bleachers, refinishing the floors. We dropped down to the middle schools, started replacing all those bleachers and refinishing the floors. Now we're working on some of our elementary schools. This is replacing the carpet in the multi-purpose room with a seamless polyurethane floor system. We started doing this instead of carpet. It doesn't stain as easy when you're using sheet carpet. You know, after 3, 4, 5 years, you start getting soiled. And this here is a much better flooring system that's cleanable and is a much more efficient means. We're working through our elementary multi-purpose rooms at this time. We did Winston Avenue this past year. You look here, we also did Willowford Elementary School. We can add mascots in the center of the floor, add colors and things of that nature. This here is Nash Elementary School. This is next to Red Oak Elementary. This was the last elementary school that we replaced bleachers. You can also see in the background the window replacement. We also have started replacing all those windows because we're adding air conditioning and HVAC to a lot of these older gymnasiums. This here's Spring Hook Elementary School. You can see the roof replacement. We also replaced the windows with Carwall windows. We're doing this also in many of our multi-purpose rooms. They were replaced in the last fiscal year. We also purchased 2 maintenance vehicles and 2 trim mowers, which we're trying to do every year to keep from taxing all of our revenues in multiple years. Northern Nash School to replace your LED lights. You probably know in the last several years, we've been talking about Southern Nash High School. We've been walking through that campus. We've now moved to Northern Nash, replacing lights, ceilings with suspended ceilings. We're also starting to work on the mechanical. We're working through that school as well, doing a lot of that stuff in-house with my team. Nash Central High School, of course, you know, it's one of our newer high schools, other than Rocky Mount High, that's 20 years old. We started roof replacement there. We're walking through that campus. This past year, we did gymnasium, field house, and media center. This coming up fiscal year, we're going to hopefully complete that campus with a single membrane roof. Southern Nash High School, we also replaced the roof on the gymnasium. In Fairview Elementary School, you can see this was a phase 2. We completed phase 1 last year. This is phase 2 shingle replacement. Again, that building is 97, 22, 23 years old as well. This here is some of our overlay parking lots. This first picture here is Herbert Elementary School. We started overlay the staff parking lot in that campus. Picture over here is the staff parking lot between D.S. Johnson and Fairview Elementary School. This was also completed this past year. This is some of the projects that we're currently working on. Of course, you know Red Oak Elementary School sitting right here behind us. We broke ground on it this past year. This is just a rendering of the campus. We're very happy to be able to hopefully move in this December with the Red Oak Elementary staff and kids, hopefully this December, and moving the Swift Creek Cedar Grove kids in the following June or the following August. We'll move them over to summer. This is a picture taken 2 weeks ago now, this Friday. We're still on schedule. We may have slipped maybe a couple of weeks. We've had some challenges, but we're still on par to hopefully still not have any issues with getting the staff moved in late November, maybe first week of December before the kids go home, so staff can be ready for kids in January of 23. This is another project we're currently working on. This is a rendering of the Northern Nash Field House. This is the back side of the field house. Not sure how many. This is the practice field when you're walking, looking back toward the practice field. This is the front view of looking out toward the game field. This is the project we're excited about. This is one of the last field houses that we look forward to opening. We're still securing funding on that. But this would be the last field house. The other 3 high schools in the county have new field houses, and this would be the updated version for Northern Nash High School. This here is my 22-23 capital outlay budget. Not sure how you guys can see this, but I'll just kind of go through it a little bit. Basketball Elementary School, Johnson and Englewood. I showed you pictures of the Winston and Williford flooring systems and polyurethane. We're looking at going through those 3 campuses this next fiscal year. You'll see that it's a roughly $50,000 number for each school. Now, we do have some abatement to do on those multi-purpose rooms where some of the other ones we remove carpet, so that escalates that number a little bit. Middle high school upgrades, we're currently working on the 5, 7, 8, 9 admin mechanical, which I'll go over a little bit later. Installing lights and ceilings at Edwards Middle School. We're doing a major renovation on that campus. Rocky Mount High School, we're sanding and refinishing the gym floors in the auxiliary gym as well as the main gymnasium. Southern Nash High School, we do have an ADA lift that needs replacing in the cafeteria. Northern Nash High School, install lights and ceilings in 10 classrooms. This is part of the renovation we're doing with the mechanical kind of in tandem with renovating that school as well. You'll notice the HVAC projects. I do not have anything in the capital this year. We use the Nasher funds to continue all of the mechanical when we're doing other upgrades using that capital money for other projects. One of them being the roof repair and replacing the Nash Central High School I just mentioned. We're looking at hopefully replacing the roofs over the shop area and the main lobby. Southern Nash High School, the 400 wing, of course, that building is just over 20 years old. That's a single membrane roof that has started causing us some major issues with leaking. And Winston Avenue Elementary, we're looking at breaking that campus into 2 phases and changing it over from a shingle roof to a metal roof. So we're going to be doing that in 2 phases. Hopefully between this year and next year, we can get that changed over from shingle to metal. Of course, you'll see in the top right up here, we've got paving and gravel. Rocky Mountain Middle School, when we moved the TRE Academy over there, we're putting a new parking lot in over there. Southern Nash High School, we're going to start overlaying that parking lot. This year would be the bus parking, and next year we more likely will do the student parking lot. And then right over the middle, we added about a 1,500 foot car stacking lane on the back side of that campus, and we will overlay that parking lot this summer as well. And of course, carpet, which is an ongoing situation for us in schools. We normally throw 60 to 70,000 a year. We do carpet tile. My staff installs all that, the VCT as well as the carpet tile. So we move along with campuses as needed on that. We got playground safety. Most of that is either we're replacing equipment or putting sand or covering. More of a maintenance issue with all the playgrounds in the district. Safety and security, that's mostly cameras and anything that we have to do as far as maintaining or adding cameras throughout the district. Of course, the 2 vehicles and capitalized equipment, that's the trim mowers for grounds.
Everyone. This is our summary of proposed revenue. As you can see, we have a grand total of funds of $127,852,033. Revenue anticipation for 22-23. And this is just showing you the percentage of funds that we receive. As you can see, the state is our main contributor at 72.2%. Here are our local expenditures by programs in comparison to the current year. Then showing you the proposed 22-23 year for each department based off of their needs. The current expense proposed revenue comes from Nash County appropriations and the funds and forfeitures, along with a portion from Edgecombe County, their funds and forfeitures and appropriations. So our grand total appropriations that we are budgeting or proposing to budget for 22-23 is $23,587,614.
Good evening. District, as you know, received COVID relief funding from the federal government that provided us with more flexibility in federal grants than we've experienced in the past. But nonetheless, there still were limitations to how we could spend those funding. So in our ESSER funds, we received 3 pots. In our CARES funding, which is our ESSER 1, PRC 163, we receive approximately $4.2 million. We use that funding to support social and emotional learning in middle schools, mental health clinical day treatment services, sanitation supplies, summer learning after school, leadership support, and retention bonuses for our existing staff. We also receive ESSER two funds, which is PRC 171. We receive approximately 16.4 million. Those funds have been used to support technology, student devices, to purchase activity buses, used for HVAC systems, window replacements and doors, school nutrition, and also the Jumpstart Academy summer program that was required by the state. The last pot of funding that we receive is ESSER 3, PRC 181. We receive approximately $36 million. And the funding was used for cafeteria upgrades, Kelly Services, which is the vendor we use to provide substitutes, beginning teacher director, sanitation supplies, materials, interactive boards across the district, K-12, purchase additional activity buses, Lead 180 facilitators in middle school and high schools, guidance assistants in middle schools and high schools, Anita coordinator, which is our virtual academy, and several staff members, additional nurses and social workers, retention bonuses, fine art supplies, materials, media digital resources, and capital outlay projects.
I want to go over a few of the projects now from the ESSER funding that we had received. My portion was somewhere around $12 million. You'll see here Northern Nash Gymnasium, the Northern Nash 15 classrooms. We're using our capital money, as I just reviewed a few minutes ago, with 15 classrooms. We're using ESSER funding to do the mechanical side, and we're using our capital funds to do the LED lighting and the ceiling replacement. We're kind of walking through that campus, renovating it at the same time. Cooper's Elementary Dining Room, we're putting the VRF system in the dining room. We're doing that in-house with my team. Hubbard Elementary Cafeteria. We just completed the Hubbard Elementary 200 to 300 wings with the VRF. We did that with my team as well. The principal was gracious enough to give us a couple classrooms at a time, so we moved kids around, and they now have new heating and air. Nash Central Middle School is the picture you're seeing here. That's a chiller replacement. We have replaced both of those chillers now. So that campus is fully functional again, HVAC wise. This here is Parker Middle School. This first picture here is the gymnasium. We pulled that all gyms. It's actually what we're working on, removing the gyms from the chiller systems and the boiler systems. Most of our gymnasiums are used 5-6 days a week, a lot of functions. So instead of firing a boiler or firing a chiller, most of the time you'll notice our chillers are further away from the gymnasium. So we have to fire pumps, and it takes a lot of utilities to fire a system and push it all the way to the opposite end of the building. So we're pulling a lot of our mechanical system gymnasiums off the main chiller system so that we can schedule those on when most of these buildings are being used. You'll see this picture on the right is also the chiller we just put in 2 weeks ago during spring break at Parker Middle School. Now that campus now is fully functional, again with the gym as well as the chiller. Picture you're seeing here is Red Oak Elementary School. As you know, we pulled the mechanical piece out of that contract. My team is putting the heat and air system in here. You can see we hung all the duct work here. We hung all the sock duct, we're handling all that in-house. We pulled that out of the contract. Nashville Elementary School, we replaced the boiler chiller. Rocky Mountain Middle chiller has been replaced. Edwards Middle School, I think I mentioned with our capital, the 5, 7, 8, 9, and admin is going over to the new VRF system as well, and we're doing the ceilings of the LED lighting with capital funding. Bailey Elementary's chiller replacement is also has been ordered and be replaced this summer. Couple of our window replacement projects. You'll see here is Hubbard Elementary School. These are the cow wall windows we put in, the multi-purpose room. And if you look on the right side here, you'll see the old window in this picture and the new window in the picture next to it. We're really excited to update it. It really makes these buildings look 50, 60 years newer and a lot more energy efficient. All of this is being done with ESSER's funding. Williford Elementary, actually Hubbard Elementary, as you see pictures, we finished that up last week. So that school is online now as far as the window replacement. The Williford windows are coming in this week. We've scheduled those after EOGs. We'll start replacing all of those windows. Edwards Middle School will be in late June. Spring Hope Elementary Auditorium, replacing those in July. And Cooper's Elementary pre-K building will also be coming in this summer. Also, we were allowed to purchase 14 new activity buses. This is something that I think in years past, commissioners have allotted us some money to purchase some activity buses. We were using that, I think, with debt service. Now we have purchased 14 new activity buses to help alleviate that need. I'm on this time go over some of the funding challenges that we're going to have for next year. We put them in 4 categories. One is going to be increase in salary benefits. I believe Money could even mention that here. Technology demand, we're a one-to-one district. So we would like to start some sort of a refresh plan that we'll talk about. Declining ADM, we were held harmless during COVID for 2 years. Lost as many as 800 some students, probably last year. We have recovered majority of those students, but we're going to be short. I believe it's going to be 250 students this year. And teacher retention. I'm going to get you to come and talk about the benefits.
This is just showing you the anticipated changes for year 2023. As you can see, the salary increases. Classified employees, they this is the year we had 2.5 years to get our classified employees up to $15 an hour, or a 2.5% increase. And 2023 is the year that everyone will be making, as far as classified, at least $15 an hour. But that's an anticipated increase in salary. Our benefits, as you see, the retirement is going to increase 1.3%, and our hospitalization is $378 per employee. If you put that in numbers, we have approximately 2,600 employees. We're looking at $982,000 increase in just benefits for hospitalization alone.
So now, budget request. Request the starts with increased teacher supplement of 1%. A recruitment bonus that we started this year. Also a non-certified local supplement and a refresh plan. Mr. McQueen, let's talk about the refresh plan.
With our refresh plan, we are a one-to-one district, and that means that every student in our district has access to a device as well as spares available, which is good. As a one-to-one district, we want to be progressive and not take a step backwards. So what we've done, we developed a refresh plan, and this is an annual refresh plan. And a few details about it, and the reason and the goal that we want this plan is so that we have adequate devices for our students as well as our staff. So the refresh plan consists of our pre-K and first grade devices. They will be refreshed every year. And the reason being is the devices that we purchase for them will be grade specific. So they will be refreshed every 4 years. Our second, fifth, and ninth grade will get new devices every year. And the reason why we chose that is because the warranties for the devices are 4 years. So we map the second, the fifth grade, the ninth grade. So those students will keep those devices over a 4-year period. As well as our staff devices, we have about 19, maybe 1,900 plus staff on our staff. Yeah. And so what we've done, we took a quarter of the 1,900 staff and we're going to replace them every year as well. Okay. And so you see this cost per, the cost to maintain this refresh plan is 1.5, but in actuality is 1.8 with the inflation, let me say, of the parts and all the computer parts and all the things that go with that. So the challenge is maintaining this refresh plan after the ESSER funds are up. So just want to put that out there.
Ms. Long?
So recruitment bonuses. As you know, our profession is at a crossroads for several reasons. One, due to the shrinkage of adults pursuing education, competition among districts vying for highly qualified staff. We have several members that are retiring and exiting the profession just for various reasons. With that being said, the district would like to continue with the recruitment bonus in efforts to recruit and retain highly qualified staff. Bonuses will be provided for the following areas: hard to fill positions, numerous vacancies. We've also given an additional percent for any new candidates that are about to go to a low performance school, and that would be the lowest 5% tiered based on the state's guidance. Mr. Outlaw, I think at our last meeting, you recommended that we consider rewarding staff that are currently in our district. And we would like to include a percentage of this for retention bonuses purposes for all part-time and full-time positions. And they must remain in the district for the entire 22-23 school year. So we're requesting $500,000 for that.
So the next would be local supplement. I know we discussed this at our October, November meeting. You can see right now, talk about being competitive. We are currently at 11 to 12.5%. See other districts ahead. We talked about a 2% supplement at the last meeting, but the state came in, House Bill 71, they call it a teacher compensation fund, which gives us that extra 1%. That'll be a recurring fund. So we will have that 2% if you fund us the extra one. It comes to non-certified bus drivers, monitors, child nutrition, clerical maintenance, teacher assistants for transportation. We've given various raises for the past 2 years. We'd like to increase stipends now, supplements right now. You can tell a 1% would be about $220,000. 1.5, 330. During COVID, you definitely, these employees need to be rewarded. I think it's very important for us. Same as with our recruitment bonus, trying to give them some sort of a retention and a recruitment bonus to continue their service. So if you look at the local current expense proposed revenue, we're asking for an extra 2.5 million. See, Nash County's appropriation, Edgecombe, 23,026,000. And now, any questions?
When we start there, this would, so you referred to that, benefits, fringe benefits line, I think it was close to $900,000. Is that a part of your ask request for this group? Your request up there?
Well, when it comes to local, it's kind of yes. It's all in the lump sum.
That is inclusive. Thank you.
Questions of Mr. Belleville?
Last, I asked question about maintenance of schools and city of Rockland, especially those county side, those departments of district. I didn't hear anything in the presentation about maintenance there, but I did tonight. Have you really, I've been getting a lot of negative comments about elementary school as it relates to maintenance. And you mentioned some, you said the gym and the air conditioning. What about other parts of it? Like the walls? Would you comment on that?
You mentioned the walls. I mean, that is general maintenance. I mean, we do have maintenance money. What I went through tonight was basically the capital outlay, the mechanical side, the chiller, the chiller in the main campus, as well as the gymnasium we pulled off. But we go through all schools as far as painting. If you're mentioning the walls, they're on a schedule. They're painted every 8 years. If that's what you're referring to.
No, but it was not. It's the content of the wall.
I guess I'm not exactly sure. I mean, the buildings are maintained. There are maintenance issues and they're handled. I mean, there's no roof issues. The roof was replaced probably 17, 18 years ago with metal roof. The mechanical has just been upgraded. All of the mechanical on all the Edgecombe schools have been updated within the last 10 years. We do have routine maintenance schedules that we go through from the southern end of the county to the northern end of the county that we do on regularly scheduled periods.
Well, I just want to know so I can dispel some of this mess that's circulating.
I understand.
If it's untrue, I want to hit it.
Sure.
If it's true, then you talk about that.
But
I'm not sure it's true.
I look at the Nash County public school system as a complete district and not segments of the county.
I'm glad to hear that.
Because, if I may comment on that too, we had our recent meeting with the Edgecombe County Commissioners, and we intentionally had our facility meeting with one of our facilities on Edgecombe County. Because what we don't want to do is move. You know, we want to show you what we got in our schools. We're not ashamed of any of our schools. And we communicate that information to the Edgecombe County Commission as well. Gave them, and we would gladly give you the same opportunity in the school that you want to see in our district. As we stated earlier, it doesn't matter whether it's on the southern end or down in the city. You all can see that. That way you can dispel those rumors without only your situation.
We invited.
But that's where I'm interested in dispelling misinformation.
We've invited a few of the commissioners that requested to just visit any of those schools.
This is not coming from me, not coming from the commission. This is citizens that started spreading. At this point, I facts, so I think I can dispel it.
And if I'm right, I believe, Mr. Davis, we talked about how much we spend more than what we receive from Edgecombe County and county. So we dispelled that rumor. And at the last meeting where we talked about, we've overspent compared to what we did.
Just a thought, to what, Mr. Belfield just said, maybe, Mr. Belfield, you could, refer those people to the school system and they could actually go to the school themselves. And that would dispel it firsthand.
That's going to be part of my suggestion too.
That's what I recommend to do, because we probably have been in the schools.
Other questions from the commission?
I have a comment. I don't know how you arrived at your 1.3% for the certified teachers. You're saying all the teachers that are in public schools. You're saying 1.3% increase? or is
1% something increase.
that- That's not their regular salary.
Referencing the increase from the state.
The benefits, oh, Ms. Whitman, can you speak to that? Are you talking about the raises?
The raises.
1.3%.
Yeah.
That's the standard, the state, tells us what the raises are, that comes from the state. Supplement, of course, is local.
And the supplement is what?
Supplement comes from local funds. What we got.
Again, I'm not sure. That out last week. Like we have done. Half of it. Bishop would not the other said, this has the equal supply, and therefore they would have to fulfill our tentative nod that we would pass. And that's something that.
Okay, just that 1.3% is giving me heartburn.
Well, I think you refer to what the state says. They really have to go.
That's what I need
They
to
gave
know.
a 2-year in budget, they gave $3.
So $15.
Right, and it's an average. So you have some that have been working 10 years, some 15, 20, it's an average. It comes out to 1.3.
Further questions?
If you add that 2% supplement increase based on everything else saying even, that should put the system in the top 10 in the state out of 115 units.
So we'll be near there.
We're at 13 right now.
We'll be probably tied with future, right?
That's pretty impressive for us.
It is.
So I just want to say that has not come without cost. We have, Dr. Ellis and this group have made tremendous strides to make the system leaner, make the system more efficient. There has been times that we have cut items or essentially trying to meet those in and make sure we get them. And that's one of the reasons we're coming in, making a presentation to this county, this commission, to help us offset some of the costs.
Other commissioners that have both get.
Oh, yes, getting back to the teacher supplement. Get appropriation from the state. I didn't notice that they are not used to for supplement. For all they told me, depending on the counties.
So the local, but under the House Bill 71, we are getting a percentage to be used. We can use it as a supplement. Other districts can use it other ways.
So
We're going to use it as a supplement for teachers.
So it's the local boards of education, boards, decisions that do what they want with those ones that they get to.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah, because I look at the school system in North Carolina and you see the supplements so different, very so much. And those with high supplements, that's where they're gonna be able to attract teachers there. Low performing schools in some of your smaller counties. Well, that's what's left. But you're correct.
But House Bill 71 is to help with that supplement for those districts that don't have any concept. There are some that are getting $4,000. We're not, because we're in that contract.
Okay, my next question is security. Seem to be that even children bring guns to school, shoot, killing fellow students across the country. You certified with security in these schools in Nash County?
I'll let Dr. Farrow, Mr. Davis talk about our upgrades and security that we've done in the past years. So security systems and you'll just do it right there, Mr. Farrow. You have to come on.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, evening. Thank you. Oh, no, you're fine. One of the things that we have worked really hard to try to do in Nash County Public Schools is try to make sure that from a physical standpoint, that we have a camera system, kind of that hard security. So when you're dealing with children, and children move in and out of spaces and places, having that camera system where we can go back and see what actually happened, or we can see people coming on campus, people leaving campus. Those things helps us in security. But one of the things that we are most proud of is what we have done in working with building relationships with students, where we have really increased our support for mental health. As many of you know, mental health is a crisis that is happening within schools. It's happening everywhere, and it's happening here. We have been able to use funding to have school-based mental health support in every school in our district. Ms. Grant is here. She's part of that process and making sure that our students who need the help has that help. Mr. Davis, Mr. McQueen from the technology standpoint, Mr. Davis from the maintenance piece. We all work together to try to make sure that our building is secure, that people can't just walk up and enter our buildings. They have to be buzzed in. Is there anything else you want to address, Mr. Davis, from a maintenance perspective?
The only thing I would add is I know several years ago, we received a grant from the state, and we have expanded our camera systems from middle and high to the elementaries, exterior of the campus. We have shortly moved them to the interior of the elementary schools. We've upgraded all of the middle and high school cameras to where we can look at them from iPads, from laptops. They're all remote. And the access control. I mean, there is no magic bullet as far as keeping kids safe in schools, but we do have layers that we have added to our district that have helped us where the districts may not have been able to do so.
Ms. Grant, from a mental health, social, emotional perspective.
Sure. We have actually been able to access a lot of the ESSA funding, as Ms. Wallace stated. We've also gotten several grants from the state, from the Center of Safer Schools, and from Project Aware, which is a grant that's federally funded with a flow through from the state. Well, we have been able to tier supports for meeting all of the social emotional needs, starting at tier 1 for all children, putting some supports in place, and then looking at our students who need a little bit more than what they can get than everybody's getting, and then expanded. We are very blessed to be able to have in-house mental health counselors and access to services at all of our schools. Some of those services also provide on-site medication management, so the parents don't have to take off of work and come. They'll take their children from school and bring them back. So it's been we're trying to make it really relatively easy for our staff and our students to access those services and our parents. So we've been blessed to do that. We did do the grant for the cameras for the Center of Safer Schools, and we've also this year been able to do our exterior buildings, so we're able to now have the cameras in our field houses. I think that was the other expansion. We should be done with our camera system
Pretty soon.
And the reason why I wanted her to address the social emotional, the mental health part of it is because when you look at research and what research says about school security is that schools who invest in building relationships with students are the schools that are the most successful in having a safe environment for students and are less likely to see things happen such as school shootings. Mr. McQueen, is there anything you want to add from the technology side of it?
Well, outside of the technology, I was going to mention the safety team that we have, partnership with the local police. So do you want to talk about that?
Yes, we have a district safety team, and with that district safety team, we involve our school SROs, we involve emergency management, we have principals, we have district level people on that team. And the purpose of having that team is so that if something was to happen in our school, there's a team of individuals who can come together and put in place our reunification plan. God forbid that it ever has to happen, but we have a team in place who know what their roles and responsibilities are in case such an event should happen.
I think, Mr. Bellfield, question derives from a very brief conversation we had at our board meeting yesterday. And it was along the lines of, we realized we got SROs in high schools and in middle schools as well. About right before COVID, I think in one of these board meetings, we had some discussion about SROs in elementary schools. It didn't go very deep, but that question arose again yesterday in our conversation about it. And to us, it appeared like the school system, and I'll put this kind of on the question, had decided on the elementary schools that they could get more for the money spent and probably better security by utilizing the camera system. They could do that with one SRO in a very large school, but you have to be at the right position at the right time to be a function system. But apparently, it appears like to me, I would speak for hopeful with it, you have chosen a different direction for elementary schools to provide the security that the school board feels is necessary. Comment on what you're thinking we're doing, or where are we with that thought?
From my standpoint, I mean, to me, if you're asking, it's more of a funding situation. An SRO, of course, is a recurring expense, whereas a camera system is a one-time capital expenditure. We can look outside the buildings. We've got these camera systems set up where it's in the principal's office. SROs at the middle and highs can pull them up on their cell phones. So it does help, but I think it's more of a true funding issue and a reoccurrence where the capital with the cameras is a one-time expenditure that we can look at the campus from a snapshot and look. I mean, some of these campuses have 30, 40, 50 cameras, and we can look just about all around that building, interior and exterior, especially at the middle and highs. Elementary, not there yet. Exterior, we are working on interior at the elementaries.
And I will say that different comment came up when we were discussing our upcoming meeting with our legislators that we have each year, probably more back in session. And we were trying to formulate a list of the things we wish to talk to them about. And the question was, should we have on the list to ask for additional funding for SRO so we can move it into elementary, but we didn't feel comfortable putting that on our list until we heard from y'all that indeed was a need. I guess you could say that's what the conversation came on.
I think it would be great if we could have funding for SROs at the elementary school. Mr. Davis brings out a very valid point when you're looking at continuous funding over a period of time. It's cheaper to get the security cameras than when you're having to pay $80,000 for an SRO salary, and that's not including benefits. So we're looking at 16 elementary schools and putting an SRO in each school, that could be quite expensive.
I think it also, Mr. Bellfield, when we had that discussion, we had made a request that if you could help fund those SROs. And I think we, as Shannon just referred to, the cost of funding SROs
was more than the camera system. Miss Fulton and then Mr. Nash.
One thing about safety elementary, a lot of our elementary schools are in small towns. I know when I was principal of Middlesex and also Spring Hill, the town police chief, a lot of times, or at least the police officer, spent a lot of time in the elementary school, was not doing anything but walking around. So that helps as far as not being able to fund the SRO officer at elementary. Whereas our middle and high schools are all out in the country, you might say. It takes longer to get response.
So that goes back to the partnership that Dr. Fair was talking about. Ms. Fulton?
Well, I had a,
Mr. President, I think Ms. Fuller had the floor, which is the moment.
Thank you, sir. I would just add to the conversation that we are at the committee level, looking into what else we can do to make our schools more safe. We have been talking about that now for a couple of our meetings, and we are doing a study trying to see what we can do additionally to make our schools safer for our students and our staff.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think having a presence in a school of a law enforcement officer, a vehicle sitting out front is a good thing. And we're getting ready to meet with our local legislation team. And I just think we need to start that discussion because cameras are great, but after the fact, they do nothing to handle the situation at hand. So if you have one child that is seriously injured or killed in elementary school, then I'm comfortable we're gonna figure out a way to put additional safety measures in that school. And SROs seem to me like a reasonable way to do that. I think, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I'm saying we're willing to start that discussion and lobby for that through our NCACC, even whatever we can do to make it happen. Because I think it's needed.
Mr. Outlaw, may I say? Mr. Outlaw, please don't take it that we are not seeking help for SRO officers. We would love, I would, and I think my board would as well, love to have that conversation. And we need all the help.
I know it's a funding issue, but you've got a lobby, we've got a lobby. I just think
And
we
we're
need to start
willing to
that
do that. Yes, sir.
So you're good with us starting that discussion?
I am, and I think my board is.
Can't help it.
Exactly.
We encourage you to start that with your lobby.
Our
Yes, sir.
meeting is scheduled for the 11th of this month. Have any more input you can give us between now and then, we'll certainly put it on our list of items, and I think we've got enough advice to go ahead and put it on our list. Anything is telling me about call.
Right, we would just have to have some conversation with other districts because yes, I agree that SROs, I was former principal, I know the president of the police officer, but when you start putting them in elementary schools, it causes other issues. So I do agree with
That's
Mr.
why we prior to us moving forward. So
I agree with Dr. Farrell, most any weapon we find on the campus isn't found by SRO.
Well, I think our board is very pleased with the relationship that we've established with your board. And we want to do what we can do to continue to expand on that relationship.
And we can find out how that looks in elementary school.
okay, so we will hear from you before we run. Let's be up to you that.
oh, yes, I brought that up, we had discussed it, but I brought it up. I was talking to a teacher who works here in Eastern North Carolina. Her school, a parent came into the school and saw the teacher about that child. And the stuff that the child had heard from so we need to be careful how people come into the school system.
So I would call it
parents from coming, but they need to come in the right way, through the principal office.
Other commissioners have questions. I'll make a couple.
I don't have,
Go ahead.
I don't have a question. I just wanna, commend, I've never seen the staff for the presentation. The presentation shows where you're at, and where you're trying to go, your issues, and I appreciate Canada from the board and, Ms. Clark, just in case.
It's just a couple of questions I'll jot down in that very quick moving presentation that you made. First comment, Mr. Davis, I counted about 19 times during your presentation. You told about the work that your staff did. I continue to be amazed in your, I mean, I know you might have some organization with you see other maintenance directors in other school systems. Are the other systems that do in-house what we were able to do here under your leadership?
They don't come close. That's why I invited the EdgeCo commissioner to come see our school, because I don't think you can find any better group. Shannon Davis and his team, what they do in these buildings, maximizing the money that he gets every year and what he's doing on these slides.
Well, they really just look that way. I don't know if I'm trying to make it look better in my mind, so we're Nash County, but I think we'll have we appreciate the work that you do next day. And how many times you use my staff?
Well, I'm only as good as the people who are behind.
I realize, I have great workers, but you're doing something here this period of time to keep those great workers. Either y'all got a team that's all bought into it, which I think got to be part of it. I don't know, but I'm just fascinated by what you get done for old people. It actually takes away from my business, but it also saves the county money on what you do. So it's greatly appreciated. And the level of work that we carry, we keep an air conditioning system. I don't know what any other school system that I've ever worked in, which really have a staff that does what y'all do. That's a little bit of concern, Dr. Ellison moving through your presentation, particularly on the ESSER funds. It appeared like the majority of expenditures you used there was only one-time expenditures. I did see a couple of items where, for instance, you used part of the money to add additional staff, nurses and social workers. When that money is gone, do you have a plan by which you will keep those employees, or what is it? Where are we at with that, or are we gonna be expecting at some point that we come up with funds to cover it?
So we do have a plan. I'll let Ms. Wallace come up here and explain some of the.
So even though you see these employees listed here, it's not like it's a large number of employees. We still receive federal funding that will support these additional support personnel that we have. So our plan is to use state and federal funding to sustain what we currently have in the ESSER funding.
Okay. Good answer. I appreciate that. The other thing, Mr. Davis, I did very carefully, and I realize I have skill level that didn't do this, but as you went through all those slides of what we had going on, I very much took notice of Mr. Belleville's question, because I also hear that many times from people I run into about the disparity between how the school system treats their facilities in Nash County versus the ones that Nash County school systems have located in Edgewood County. But when you look at your presentation, it's just no evidence of that whatsoever. I mean, I see you replacing huge chillers at Parkland Middle School, Linda's here, Parker there, and of course, I myself, if you recall, two years ago, I think, took your budget and went through to see if indeed we were spending less on a per student and also a per square foot basis. I didn't find it to be true then. But where do these rules come from that know you probably can't answer that, but I'm like, what they'll do, I wish we could do something to prevent it, because we got a lot of people that sincerely believe that, but it's just no facts.
I agree. I mean, I spend the money where the money needs to be spent. It's all basically needs based. I do realize that, you know, we've got a southern end of the county, a northern end of the county. We've got the center of Rocky Mountain, Edgecombe, and I make sure that I spread the money where it's needed. And make sure that I share the wealth with the entire county, but it's all really, when you boil it down, it's all needs based. I try not to go replace anything that doesn't need to be replaced just for the sake of spending money. I try to do it where it's needed. Where Edgecombe County, you know, when D.S. Johnson several years ago, when I spent $500,000, the boiler and chiller it needed totally renovated, and that's what we did. We dumped $500,000 in there, totally renovated the campus, and then the LED lighting, and so it's all needs based. Now, granted, I do know that I have to spread the wealth throughout the district, and every part of the district has needs. We've got schools, you know, throughout the district that have needs now, and I have to take that $1.5 million of capital funding and spread it around to make sure that I'm taking care of the needs that need to be addressed. So that's how I encapsulate my budget.
Will you ever get through the community college appears to be in where you have no capital needs?
I doubt that will ever happen.
I filed that you, and I think you noticed we filed and talked about the winter. My last thought was, I saw some difference in your employee insurance. One slide shows $200 per employee, one slide shows $378. I think it's 378 is closer to what I read in my head. What I was percentage wise. So I wonder what that is.
I see the 378.
378 for hospitalization, it's $378 per employee increase. It's different from the Nash Community College had different numbers. We paid $7,000.
You know what, I'm confused myself. The 200 came back. I'm sorry. Get back right.
Since we're talking about things that might be rumored, this morning I heard, I don't know if it's fact or fiction, so maybe y'all can set me straight. Somebody come to me and said, have you heard that they're going to close Bailey School? And they move all the students to Middlesex, they're going to do a new school at Bailey and then put those students back. Is that fact or fiction? It not make sense to me. I said they can't take all the students from Bailey and put them in Middlesex. They don't have room to do that. But that was a rumor again that maybe floats around. But that's when I heard it.
Maybe sort of, I think probably the other day, or Dr. Ellis, there has been conversation regarding Spanish or English immersion groups.
Spanish immersion.
Spanish immersion groups. So we're all moving kids from, you can talk, and that's probably what it moves.
We're moving about 60, 70 students to the Bailey Spanish immersion program. Is going to be moved to Middlesex.
So that's just.
That's probably it.
If you want to build it, they were going to close the school when it got to meet it. Building a new one and then moving back.
If you want to build some new buildings, we'll take the money. If you want to build a new building, we'll take the money. We'll talk about it.
That concludes presentation. I don't hear any questions from our commission.
So we just appreciate your support. Thank you for the teacher appreciation. Thank you.
Item 10 is just open discussion and we have a call for concern from either board. So I will start that off by just saying how much appreciation I want to give to the school board on behalf of the commission at the tone of these meetings that we have now. We were not where we are today. Very civilized and just well, the hard issue. Taking a lot of work on the member file board as well as the members of the old board. Some changes that have been made on both sides. I don't know what made the change, but whatever it is, I personally hope it will continue indefinitely. Whoever it is, because it's much easier if you show the things together. About the RPs or we kind of left over anger, what we try to do with our board. We don't always agree, but we try to leave disagreement. It's one meeting, and try not to bring it back to the next meeting, and I think these two years, that's the job of that over the last several years. I appreciate that, but what else do board members have, commissioner or school board members, they not do stuff,
I'd just like to say thank you for what y'all do for us, for our teachers and our students, something the entire county should be proud of. Like you said, Jamie Davis, you know, our working relationship is a lot better than that. And the students are going to read the reward. Anyone else?
I just got one thing, two items that I would like to discuss. Mr. Davis, at some point in time, just to get clarity, I'm constantly learning, being trained to get as much time as I can as far as what we can receive. One of the questions of disparity that I'm going to be communicating with, and that's fines and forfeitures. I've heard rumors talking through those fines and forfeitures. I had a conversation with our sheriff regarding those fines and forfeitures. I had a conversation regarding the district attorney regarding those fines and forfeitures. So what I'm looking at doing, so I'll better understand that process from the county commissioner side. I would like to have an opportunity to set up a chance that you and I have a dialogue.
I'm not sure I'll be the right person to have it with, but I will be glad to speak with you. Fines and forfeitures come in two pots of money. They come either from the state fines and forfeitures or federal. I think that they be concerned with the fact that our administration in our current sheriff's department, and I'm gonna be very careful how I say this, we have a task force from the feds working the Rocky Mountain, Nash, Edgecombe area. And it is here because of needs of crime and fight crime we have. And therefore, we have a lot of charges that go federal because the task force federal agents are involved in that. And it is up kind of to the sheriff himself what resources he uses to fight crime, and he has chosen to use such things. I don't disagree at all with that decision because of the tremendous, we all keep reading that crime is getting better. But if you read the one page of the newspaper in Rock Mountain, Edgecombe County, as far as leads really get better. They're serious crimes. We've had 2 murders already this week, and certainly I'm not here to well on that, but the issue I think Mr. Sharp, you referred to is the fact that utilizing the tight resources that he lot of them end up in the federal prosecution area. And in the federal prosecution area, we find the forfeiture does not come back to the school system like they do the state. A part of it stays with the feds, a part of it returns directly to Nash County. The minister through our finance department, and this board pretty much has taken the position. The board members disagree with it, but we had discussed. But we will kind of take the position with individuals, and we allow sure to use what find the forfeiture that return to him from the federal level for his department. And I do think he's done an excellent job of what he spends those funds on. We might could intercede with that and make it go a different way, but I'm not sure we can legally. And I certainly don't think we want to, because it's just a battle we chose not to have, not that it would be a battle. And certainly we can't control whether a crime goes further or whether it stays in the state. That dictates where the money goes.
That's exactly the point that's true. I want to learn more about the process, because in our local budgets, we have revenue set aside for fines and forfeitures. So we set that out, and that's not a small amount of revenue. And fines and forfeitures, based on what I'm seeing, hearing, and reading, is based on, and you just explained some things to me, based on the amount of crimes or money that's captured by the police or the sheriff's department from the fines and forfeiture side of what should be going towards the school. So I will have that conversation in the board, because I want to dive deeper into our fines and forfeiture, because that's revenue that the school could be utilizing to help grow with our kids system.
And what you would need to accomplish to get additional revenue is to have those cases stay in the state prosecution area and not be in the federal part. Some crimes are on the federal, we just don't have control on, and I don't know how much control we have either way. But I do know there is a task force here that gets involved in a lot of things that we do with the church. That having a wallet, that form sure, but the other boardroom would like to add.
It seems to me that's a discussion that the chairman needs to have with the sheriff. I'm going to have that with the sheriff and with Mr. Davis.
I'll be glad to set that meeting up, just be willing to anybody else got me on that supervisor? Yeah.
No, thank you. I just want to say again, thank you guys and ladies for most ministers. You've been great for showing concerns for our school system. From the safety side, safety is always our number one priority. Safety first. So thank you for this question. We appreciate all your input as far as being willing to work, collaborate with us when it comes to not only the safety side, but making sure that we have enough resources to give the folks out there those critical people as part of this equation with our teachers. So I appreciate the resolutions. If our board has nothing else to say or no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been probably moved by Ms. Bullock, seconded by Ms. Davis. Any questions or discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor, say a sign of aye, please. Aye. In opposition. That's it. Yes.
Okay, so. Just like we get action item. We need to take care of not. They won't wait till the 23rd.
We're recessing to the 11th. Sorry.
Okay. All right, okay. Any other comments? Rick? Please, none, I didn't have a motion to recess into, 11 p.m. at your live and that.
Recess.
motion there, second. Several seconds,
Yes, sir.
I think the two I get confused with. Motion and second, all in favor, motion, let me know, say